I am 104 years old. My mother lost her mind to dementia. My sister Erline lost hers. My husband Walter, 61 years of marriage, he lost his too. I watched every person I loved forget my name while their hearts kept beating. And somehow I'm still here, still sharp, still doing the crossword puzzle every morning in ink. My doctor calls me a medical mystery. But I don't think it's a mystery at all. I think it started in my kitchen. And before my time runs out, I need to tell you what I changed. My name is Mabel Louise Thornton. I am 104 years old, and I still remember the day my sister forgot my name. Erline was sitting in her chair at the nursing home. I walked in with flowers, yellow roses, her favorite. She looked at me the way you'd look at a stranger on the bus. Pleasant enough, polite, empty. "Mabel," she said. "Mabel who?" That was 1996. She was 85 years old. Now I come from a family where the mind goes first. Mama had it. Erline had it. My husband Walter, married 61 years, he had it too. I watched the people I love most in this world disappear while their bodies kept right on going. Watched them forget their children's names, forget their own. I'm the last one left. And I'm still sharp. I do the crossword puzzle every morning in ink. I remember every grandchild's birthday. I can tell you what I wore to my wedding in 1951. Cream-colored dress, pearls my grandmother gave me, shoes that pinched my feet all day. I'm not a doctor. I taught home economics at Carver High School for 34 years. That's what I know. But I also know this. Something I did was different from what they did. And I believe it started in my kitchen. Here are the 5 foods I eat to keep my brain from aging. I'm not promising anything. I'm not selling anything. I'm just telling you what I did, and that I'm still here to tell it. Let me tell you about my mama's collard greens. Ida Mae Thornton. Lord, that woman could cook. Sunday dinners at Mount Zion Baptist Church, everybody knew. You get in line early or you miss Ida Mae's greens. She'd cook them for hours. Ham hocks, fatback, salt pork. The pot liquor at the bottom was so rich you could taste it for days. I grew up on those greens, loved them. Thought they were keeping me healthy because they were green, you know? Vegetables. Good for you. It wasn't until I was in my 70s after Walter got his diagnosis that I started reading, started asking questions. And I learned something that broke my heart a little. It wasn't the greens that were the problem. It was what we cooked them in. All that pork fat, all that grease, it was the opposite of what the brain needed. The greens themselves, good. Spinach, kale, collards, they've got things in them that feed your mind, keep it clear. But we were drowning them in the very thing that was clouding us up. So I changed how I made them. Started eating spinach salads, raw sometimes. Sautéed my kale in olive oil instead of bacon drippings. Made my collards lighter, still flavorful, but not swimming in fat. Mama's love was in that pot. I'm not saying it wasn't, but so was the thing that was slowly hurting us. I had to learn to keep the greens and change the grease. It felt like betrayal at first. Like I was saying Mama did something wrong. She didn't. She cooked the way her mama cooked, and her mama before that. She didn't know. None of us did. But now I know, and I'm telling you. My sister Erline had a sweet tooth like you wouldn't believe. Peach cobbler, pound cake, sweet potato pie with so much sugar you could feel your teeth ache, and sweet tea. Child, Erline's sweet tea had so much sugar in it you could stand a spoon straight up in the glass. We used to joke about it. I'd say, "Girl, you're going to turn into a sugar cube one of these days." She'd laugh and wave her hand at me. "Mind your business, Mabel." That was 1970-something. We were still young, still thought we had all the time in the world. By the time Earline was 85, she didn't remember the joke, didn't remember me. I'd walk into that nursing home and she'd look at me with those empty eyes. "Mabel? Mabel who?" 3 words. That's all it took to break my heart clean in 2. Now, I'm not saying the sugar is what did it. I'm not a scientist. But I know what the doctors told me. Too much sugar, it causes inflammation, builds up plaque in the brain, the same stuff that takes your memories away. I couldn't save Earline. That ship had sailed long before I understood any of this. But I could change my own plate. So I did. I still eat something sweet every day, but it's berries now. Blueberries mostly. Strawberries when they're in season. Blackberries from the farmer's market in summer. Those are my favorite, sweet enough to satisfy, but working for my brain instead of against it. Every time I eat them, I think of Earline. Think of her sitting in that chair, not knowing who I was. And I eat another handful. This is the one that changed everything for me. And it starts with Walter. 1992. Walter was 78 years old. We'd been married 44 years at that point. Raised 3 children together. Built a life. The doctor sat us down and said the words I'd been dreading since I watched Mama fade. Early stage dementia. I went home that night and I cried until I couldn't cry anymore. Then I started reading every book, every article, every pamphlet I could get my hands on. I'd already lost Mama. I was watching Earline slip away. I was not going to sit there and do nothing while Walter disappeared too. That's when I first heard about fish. Fatty fish, they called it. Salmon, mackerel, sardines, something in them, omega-3s, the doctor said, that the brain needs to stay healthy. Now, I grew up on catfish, fried catfish, with cornmeal crust and hot sauce. That was our fish. I'd never tasted salmon in my life. Didn't even know how to cook it. I was 79 years old when I bought my first piece of salmon. Went to the Winn-Dixie, asked the man behind the counter what to do with it. Took it home and cooked it completely wrong. Dry as leather. Walter took one bite and started laughing. "Mabel, what is this?" "It's brain food," I told him. "Eat it." He did. And so did I. Twice a week, every week from that day forward. Walter's decline continued anyway. 7 years of slow disappearance. 7 years of watching the man I loved forget our wedding day, forget our children's names, forget how to button his own shirt. He passed in 2003, and by the end, he didn't know who I was either. But before he forgot too much, he told me something I've never stopped hearing. "Baby," he said, "the mind is the last thing you want to lose. Everything else you can work around." Walter was right. So I kept eating the fish, for him, for me, for whatever time I have left. My kitchen used to run on Crisco. You know the blue can. Every black kitchen in Alabama had one. Crisco for frying, Crisco for bacon, Crisco for everything. Me mama used it. My grandmother used it. I used it for 50 years without thinking twice. After Walter's diagnosis, I started learning about something called the Mediterranean diet. People in Italy, Greece, they had lower rates of dementia than we did. And one of the big differences was oil. They used olive oil. We used everything but. I didn't understand all the science. Something about inflammation. Something about keeping the blood vessels clear. I just understood enough. So one afternoon in 1993, I stood in my kitchen, 80 years old, and I threw out the Crisco. It felt like a betrayal, like I was saying everyone who came before me was wrong. Mama, Grandma, all those women in my family who poured their love into that blue can. But keeping the Crisco wasn't going to bring Mama back. It was just going to send me where she went faster. Now it's olive oil for everything. Cooking, salads, drizzled on bread instead of butter. My grandchildren make fun of me. Grandma, why does everything taste like olives? I tell them. Because your grandma wants to remember your names. Last year, I went in for my checkup, 103 years old. My doctor, Patricia Simmons, been seeing her for 20 years now. She ran the cognitive tests the way she always does. Memory, recall, problem solving. Name these objects, remember these words, count backwards from 100 by sevens. I passed with flying colors, same as I do every year. Doctor. Simmons looked at my chart, looked at me, shook her head. Mrs. Thornton, she said, you're a walking contradiction to everything we expect at your age. What are you doing? I told her. Greens, berries, fish, olive oil, and a handful of nuts every morning. She nodded like that made sense to her. Said walnuts, almonds, they've got good fats in them. Vitamin E, things that protect the brain cells. I didn't need her to tell me that. I just needed to know I wasn't crazy. Every morning now, same routine. I wake up. I thank God for another day with my mind intact. I sit at my kitchen table with my bowl of walnuts and my crossword puzzle, in ink. If I make a mistake, I cross it out and keep going, just like life. I'm sitting in that same kitchen right now. Bowl of walnuts on the table. Crossword half finished. Sun coming through the window the same way it's come through for 50 years. I've outlived everyone. Mama, Erline, Walter, most of my friends from church. The women I taught with at Carver High. Almost all of them gone now. I don't know why I'm still here. I don't know why I was spared what took the rest of them. The Lord has his reasons, and they're not mine to know. But I don't believe I was spared for nothing. If you're watching this, you're younger than me. You've got time. You've got years, maybe decades, to change what you put on your plate, to choose different. I can't promise you'll live to 104. I can't promise you won't get what took my family. I can't promise anything. But I can tell you this. The food you eat matters, and you still have time to change it. I changed my kitchen so I wouldn't lose my mind, and I'm still here. If this meant something to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and maybe go eat some berries.